And now it's time for 5 minutes of Rick Sanchez's lame questions, innuendo, and suppositions.
This is the next generation of news. It's a conversation. It's not a speech. And as often we say, it's your turn to get involved. All right, this is the story that we've been keying on. 8 people dead, and now more than ever, guess what? It's starting to look like a killer or killers are still at large. How would you feel if this is your community that we're talking about right now? I mean, here's what I need to tell you about these grisly killings that have been taking place in Brunswick, Georgia. Today, a judge set a $20,000 bail for that man. This is brand new video. First time we've been able to see him in court. This is Guy Hines Jr. He's the son of one of the victims. He found the victims of these multiple murders in the place where it happened. Does this bail for him signal that he's not really a serious suspect? And if there are other people involved, who are they? How many are they? Where are they? Now, here's what's crazy about this case. Police, they're hardly saying anything. I mean, they're all but keeping their community and the media in the dark. Our own reporter today, well, you're going to hear from him in just a minute. Before I get to him, I want you to hear something else. Here's what residents in the community are saying legitimately about their concerns.
We're out here living our everyday lives with a mass murder on the loose. We live here. We're not secure. We don't have troops or guards to guard us. We have to walk the streets and live here. And, I mean, whoever did it is still out there.
Our law enforcement analyst, Mike Brooks, is here. He's joining me to talk about this a little bit. Also joining me on the phone is CNN's Sean Calebs, who's there at the scene. Sean, I was just about to basically tell viewers, you and I have been on the phone all day talking about this case, and I was going to tell viewers what you had told me, because I have sensed this frustration in you. You told me yesterday you went to the police department 3 times, and 3 times they denied you any information or any interviews. This is bizarre, and maybe people should be upset at this police department for keeping them in the dark. They should know.
Well, I think that there certainly is the desire down here that people want to know something. You know, how much should we be concerned? What are you looking at? Are there possible motives out there that nobody is talking about right now? You heard that one young girl, Ashley Strickland, she's actually a friend of Guy Hines Jr., who was in court today, talking about him and any possibility that he could be tied to this. Of course, we know Hines' attorney says nothing, but we're hearing nothing from the authorities. We've repeatedly tried to reach out to them. We'd love to hear what they have to say, even if it's nothing. Even if they say, look, we're doing the best we can, we have no new information, at least something to allay concerns for people here.
Well, I'm looking at this picture of Hines. And yesterday, when we left our viewers during this hour, it was starting to look like, because we had information that he had hidden a shotgun in the trunk of his car from the scene, and because we were hearing in certain terms that police are saying he's not being ruled out as a suspect, that this guy may have been responsible. But today, you've been talking to his attorney. You've been getting new information. He's about to be released on bail. They're talking about only a $20,000 bail, which doesn't sound to me like the bail for a killer or a suspected killer. It's starting to look like it's not him, right?
Well, I think you can certainly make a strong argument, which you just did. And let me add a couple more things into there. Before this bond was announced by the court, we know that the prosecution signed off on it, we know the judge signed off on it, and we know the police department signed off on it. So, you know, logic tells you, and we've covered enough of these things, if they suspect somebody of a brutal mass murder, 8 people brutally murdered in a mobile home, you find it hard to believe they're going to let that person walk for $20,000. And we do know, we talked to his attorney, that he plans on attending the memorial this Saturday as well, which will be held for 7 of the victims. And plain and simple, Ron Harrison, the attorney, said, look, in no way is my client associated with these murders.
That's important information, and you almost get a little... Show that picture, Dan, if you got it again. I almost have a different take on him now, watching him walk into this courtroom. And as you look at I'm going to bring Mike Brooks into the equation now. Sean, stick around. Jump in if you want to, or if you got something to add. Do you agree with this assessment that Sean and I just came up with, given what we've been learning about this guy today? Because very different from the scenario we had yesterday.
Very, very different, Rick. I mean, different from day one when he came in, called 911. I mean, you see him walking into the courtroom. He's not handcuffed. He's not in shackles. What does that say to me as a former law enforcement investigator? that they don't think that he is the main suspect in this. And I have to say, Glynn County, I used to live down there. I was at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, lived on St. Simon's Island, right across the causeway from Brunswick. I think if the attorneys down there and the chief and the judge thought that he was a suspect or was involved in this, I don't think they would be letting him out on $20,000 bail.